Hi everyone, it's Ben here, and just want to give a quick update on some of my greenhouse tropicals and some exciting news with the Miracleberry. It's a very windy day here in Sydney today. You can probably hear the little greenhouse moving. It's only a small greenhouse, and we've got about 12.8 degrees and 69% humidity at the moment inside. But I use this really just for some of my smaller plants until they, get acclimatized. But probably the main thing I wanted to show you today, I think the Miracleberry might actually have a little flower pod or a flower bud. You can see there. I'll try and zoom in. I hope it's a flower bud. I might be wrong, but hopefully I'm right, and I might actually have a flower and potentially some fruit at some stage. So it's only a little Miracleberry. I've only had it for a year. I found they really do like the acidic soil. This one, when I potted it up initially, it really did not like the potting mix I put it in. It was just neutral, standard potting mix. But I switched it over to I think it's rose and azalea. Anyway, it's a higher acidity potting mix, and the leaves actually became much more green when I did that, and it seemed a lot more happier and put on some growth at the time. But maybe it actually likes humidity, because to actually see it flower or put out a flower bud at this young age, I know a lot of people have trouble with these and don't get them flowering for a long time, so maybe it likes the humidity inside the greenhouse. We've had a pretty cold winter, so I had to put it in the greenhouse this year. But yeah, listen, I'll keep you updated on this, and fingers crossed that we might get one little Miracleberry. I couldn't see any other flower buds just yet, but if one has come, maybe there'll be some more. All right, so let's look at what else I've got in here. So this is my soursop seedling. It always tends to do this sort of browning on the leaves when I put it in the greenhouse over winter. Certainly a much more tropical tree than some of the other Annonas, like I reckon it's even more tropical than Rollinia, certainly more tropical than Cherimoya, custard apple, those sorts of guys. But it's doing okay. It's even putting out some new growth, some new leaves here and there. There's another one which I'll show you in a moment, which doesn't look as good. But this guy on this top shelf is doing all right. The one up front here is my Pitanga tuber. Really happy with how this guy's doing in the greenhouse as well. Lots of new growth that you can see there. And all down the trunk as well, it's trying to put out new growth. Happy little tree in here inside the greenhouse. Again, I think it's enjoying the humidity, and you can sort of see some trees seem to be really they really do well with a bit of humidity, where others they start to get mold on them and whatnot, so they get this black mold, and the Abiu is one of those. The humidity is not always a perfect solution for some of those other trees. This guy's a dwarf Groomy Chummer at the back here. So Eugenia itaguahensis, I think. Listen, I'll just try and get in there. Might be trying to put out some new growth, but otherwise, listen, it's doing reasonably well inside here. A little bit of black, sort of sooty, a little bit of black mold trying to get on the leaves there. The Abiu at the back here, you can already see it copped a bit of the damage on the leaves, even inside the greenhouse from the cooler weather, and it does get a bit of this black sort of mouldy stuff on it. So, but otherwise it's doing right. It keeps trying to put out growth, but you know, just being the cooler weather, the leaves aren't getting that big on the new growth. So this one will just be a matter of, I think, getting it through the rest of winter into spring, when it can start to shoot out some growth and I can put it outside. So hopefully it looks really healthy. Otherwise, you know, lots of, as you can see, you know, it's trying to put out growth all down the stem there. So yeah, I think it'll do really well once we come into spring. Right, this is a Canistel. This guy was a seedling that I grew from some fruit I had, I think, at Tropical Fruit World. You're doing really well in the greenhouse. Yeah, no complaints, no issues there. Not really putting out new growth, but you know, not dying either, which is obviously fantastic. Go down to the second shelf here. I might just pull some of these guys out. So that's the other soursop there. You can see not doing as well, but putting out new growth up the top. So he doesn't get as much light at that second shelf, so that could have something to do with it. But yeah, a lot of sort of that mottling, that brown mottling on the leaves, and some leaves falling off. I think it'll get through okay, but not doing as well as the other one. What do we got here? There's another Canistel, a smaller one. It is trying to shoot out some new growth, which is really good. Just sort of show you there. Some browning on the leaves though, but this and otherwise doing all right. Whoa, there's a bit of wind about. And this guy, Sapodilla. Again, it's had some, you know, the cold has affected it a bit there. But otherwise, yeah, doing all right. What else? I've got a curry tree down here. Curry tree never really grew much when I put it in the pot. I don't really know why. And a little lychee seedling here as well. So they're all my, you know, sort of young seedlings, tropical seedlings that I'm keeping in this greenhouse. The rest, you know, the rest of my plants are all outside. You know, a fair few in pots, but a lot of them outside. And you know, reason being is that I want them to harden up as much as possible, you know, to the Sydney climate. In particular, you know, the winter conditions. I can afford to keep a few of them in pots, obviously, and you know, bring them inside. You know, the Abium might be one in particular that might live its life in a pot and be brought inside during winters. But most of the plants I really want to put into the ground at some day. So that's probably enough for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed it, and you know, obviously subscribe, and I'll post up further videos of my garden as it matures. Thanks for watching.